good guys, welcome to this week on Princess Anu-TV, and I'm so happy to be here with you. And today we are going to be dealing with a particular topic that says, are student pilots allowed to use autopilot? I know this question comes up in a lot of people's minds and they're wondering, like, do student pilots actually use autopilot? So we're going to be dealing with this today, and I just want you to stay tuned. I'll be right back. So that whenever I post any video, you'll be able to see it. And we are hoping to get to 2,000 subscribers for the end of this month, so please subscribe so that we can reach our goal. So guys, like I said, we're going to be discussing if student pilots are allowed to use autopilot, and I would like to be starting this question from this aspect. You're a student, and so we're going to be defining what a student means, and we're going to be looking at this autopilot of a thing, what it is. So guys, let's start with autopilot. Autopilot, like, you give it, it's just like a machine. You give it, it's a device on the aircraft. Basically, you give it information and it follows the information you give it to work. So I'm not flying, I just give it an information. I set the heading, I set the altitude I want it to fly. I set, if peradventure I want it to descend, I set the feet at which I want it to descend to. I set the altitude I want it to descend to. I set the rate of descent, and I set the heading I want it to maintain while it's descending. So like, I give it an information and it flies the aircraft for me. So that's what an autopilot does. It's not like I still put all these things and I'm still holding the controls and I'm still trying to fly, except if it's turbulent, you disengage and you keep flying. So basically, who is a student? A student is someone that wants to learn. A student is someone in an institution that wants to learn. Like the way they always say, we are students of life. We've been students all our life, and the moment you stop learning, you start dying. All those talks around who is a student and who is not a student. So guys, this is it. As a student, the main aim you have is to learn the general handling of an aircraft. To learn as a student pilot, that's it. You want to learn how to fly this aircraft when everything is fine, and how to fly it even when things are not going well. Because when you have everything perfect and probably you're carrying passengers and all those things, that's when you're a commercial pilot, you're carrying passengers and you have challenges, you should be able to handle that aircraft. So now you're in an institution to learn how to do this, not basically allowing someone do it for you. And that's why most of the things you're going to do in flying school, you will do it yourself. Nobody can fly for you, nobody can do your PC for you, nobody can do your check ride for you, nobody can do your instrument flying for you. Every single thing you do it by yourself. That's the reality. So this is it. On the beginning phase of your flying, that's when you're doing your PPL. I tell you, you are not going to be allowed to use the autopilot. In fact, the aircraft you're going to be flying most likely will not have an autopilot. But this doesn't mean you're not going to use autopilot throughout school. But the beginning phase, because you're learning general handling, like I said, you're still trying to learn how to fly straight and level, climb, descent, do turns, medium level turns, steep turns, all those things, slow flight. You're still trying to learn all these things, so you will not be allowed to use autopilot, because autopilot basically helps you fly the aircraft. And if you're using autopilot, you are not going to be doing anything. Basically just watching instruments and making sure that the autopilot doesn't go crazy. That's basically what you do. So in your beginning phase, you're not going to be allowed to use autopilot. Like when I was flying, well, I know that for NCAT, based on my experience, like I always tell you guys, I talk based on my experience. I'm not talking based on what I heard or what they told me. It's based on my experience that I'm using to tell you all these things. But when you're done with your PPL phase and you start your CPL phase, when you start things like diversion, like moving from point A to point B, that they can tell you, okay, instead of getting to point B, now take me to point C, or just taking you to an unplanned destination, like a place that you didn't plan to go. For instance, I want to go from Lagos to maybe Port Harcourt, and on my way going to Port Harcourt, the instructor is like, take me to Calabar. You understand? Or he's like, take me to Abuja. So like that, you are being diverted. You didn't plan for that route. So these are things you learn in commercial flying, so that you can learn how to navigate. You can learn how to use point to point, what you're seeing on the chart, use it, check what you're seeing on the ground, try to put it together. So when you're doing that, most of the time you're going to be permitted to use autopilot, because you're trying to draw your track, you're trying to put your heading, you're trying to know your distance, and so you might not be able to do all the flying and do that. But sometimes, if the aircraft you're flying doesn't have an autopilot, you will still have to do all these, or maybe ask the instructor to please take controls and help you do all that. So I want you to have that at the back of your mind. Maybe when you get in your CPL phase, you can be allowed to use autopilot if the aircraft you're flying doesn't have autopilot. And also when you're doing instrument, because autopilot is also an instrument. When you're doing instrument, you need everything. You need to make sure you're using every instrument on the aircraft, maximizing everything you have to get to your destination safe and sound. And that's basically what they do in the airlines. You use all your instruments to fly. You use every single thing you have on board, every resource you have. So that's basically what the instrument flying is all about. Using everything you have to get there on time, efficiently, maximizing, trying to minimize the kind of fuel, trying to minimize your distance, every single thing. They're trying to use all the resources you have on board to get to where you're going. So at that stage, using autopilot, you will see finish. But for the beginning stage, I'm so sorry to disappoint you, but you will not be using autopilot. But along the line, because it's part of the training, it's part of what you have to learn, it's part of what makes you a complete pilot, it's part of what gives you an edge. You have to learn how to use it when you do this stage. Trimming, holding the controls, and doing everything. And it's quite interesting, because I will hear of some pilots who complain that they just do autopilot all through, everything boring. So now that you have the time to fly with your hands, I want you to maximize that time. Fly well with your hands and be happy about the next time you use it. Also, this thing I feel very, very happy about. So guys, I hope this helps you understand which two autopilot or not. And if you have any other questions that are bothering you concerning aviation, with the little experience I have, I can share them with you. And till meet next time, even on the same channel, keep watching Princess Anu TV. Bye guys, to meet again.